Carlos Nascimento, and I'm present today the summary of my Data 605 project analysis, which the title is Furnace and Air Conditioning System Uses based on the Calgary Average Daily Temperature and other parameters. Let's go to start with a brief introduction. Canada is the second largest country around the world. We know the temperature oscillates a lot along of the year and also between cities. In addition, the temperature can vary dramatically in small period of the time and also in small distance, like what happened here in Calgary in November 2007. So the outdoor temperature influences the furnace users and AC users to guarantee that the indoor temperature are in comfort level for people to live. So for this analysis, we have evaluated several parameters that can influence the furnace users. Based on the indoor and outdoor sense in my house located in the south of the Calgary here in the map, 20 kilometers from far from the Calgary International Airport, where it's common the temperature reported by the news to be misery. So in the next slide here, we have the main question that I wanted to answer with this project. Then how many days that each equipment operate and the outdoor temperature relate to this. If the simple average daily temperature reported by the news represents the average temperature measured outdoor of my house. If the equipment uses are correlated with the outdoor temperature, if there is some influence of the filter type or floor type on the performance of them, or if there is some other variable that is correlated with the furnace user. So in the next slide here, we have the data set that I have used. Basically, it's an Excel file with more than 1,700 rows that represent the days with 18 columns. The columns have a data that come from the weather network, have an average and maximum data that come from the sensor outdoor and indoor in my house, from my thermostat, and now some category values to identify when I have a change in something. For example, the type of the filter. So the next thing that we did was some data exploration to identify how the variables change by time series. And also we check some histograms to see how the data are distributed. We also plot some box plot, for example, by month, to evaluate how the outdoor temperatures oscillate and also how each equipment used was changed. The first analysis was to compare the temperature outdoor of my house with the average daily temperature registered by the news. We have plotted these three plots that in summary what we have here is that the outdoor temperature registered outdoor of my house is on average 2.79 Celsius degree higher than temperature registered by the news in Calgary International Airport. In the next one, we have an analysis the how many days that was a user each equipment. So we can see that the furnace since April 2017 have been using more than 1,200 times, while the AC just 227. And we have also plotted this box plot in terms of the range of the temperature that they operate. It's interesting to see, for example, in this green one area here, that all of them operate, or just one of them, or none of them. The next analysis was to evaluate if what's the influence of the filter and the floor type in the user of each equipment. In this case, at the beginning, we are showing for the furnace. So we have here on the left is the influence of the filter. We can see that the filter B helps to reduce the duration of the furnace to be used for the same average outdoor temperature in my house. And on the right here, we have the floor. We can see the floor B also helps to reduce, but not a lot like filter B on the left. And in terms of AC, we can see filter B also helps to reduce this. In terms of correlations, to try to find another correlation, we have plotted this Pearson's correlation heat map on the left and the PCA analysis on the right. I have highlighted here the furnace uses versus the humidity indoor, that we can see that is highly correlate in negative way. So I have decided to plot this humidity outdoor and the humidity indoor versus daily furnace uses here. So what we can see here is that more time that the furnace will be using, low the humidity inside of my house. That not is compatible with the humidity outdoor. So here we have the conclusion. I will not talk about them because I have already mentioned before. We have the reference here. Thanks again, and please let me know if you have some questions.